WNBA experts didn't hold back. Angel Reese locker room drama explodes with Caitlin Clark links.
With Angel in the locker room.
There's never been a team at Maryland, at LSU, and the Chicago Sky where she didn't have some sort of locker room problem with her teammates. People don't enjoy playing with her.
Several WNBA analysts have finally said what many people have been talking about for the last 2 years. They discussed Angel Reese's reported locker room issues, problems with teammates, leaving teams, and what they described as a continued focus on Caitlin Clark throughout her career. The panel didn't hold back, and some of the claims were surprising. Do you think Angel Reese can turn things around in Atlanta, or will the same issues follow her to a new team? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's break down exactly what the panel had to say, because they did not hold back.
What took place, Jason? In year one, you and Teresa Witherspoon were sabotaging games so that you can go out there and collect double-doubles while you're down 45 points. You're in the game with 20 seconds left, trying to get double-doubles because you're dying to compete with Caitlin Clark. Kennedy Carter didn't like it. She took a fall for it because she got upset with you about it. Marina Mabry demanded out. She didn't want any part of the circus act. Year two. Oh, and you also quit on the team in year one. Year two, it was even more of a circus. Oh, we're trying to play Angel Reese at point forward.
The discussion started with what should have been the main point from the start of this trade. The panel said that at every stop Angel Reese has had, Maryland, LSU, and the Chicago Sky, there have been reported locker room issues with teammates. They pointed out that this isn't just one isolated situation. It has happened across 3 different programs with different coaches and players. In their view, that suggests a pattern rather than bad luck or difficult teammates. The experts on the panel made it clear they weren't trying to soften the discussion and directly addressed what they believe is a repeated issue.
Quit on the team. You threw Courtney Vandersloot under the bus, and she had to get on camera and respond to you. You threw Ariel Atkins under the bus. Nobody wanted to deal with you. And you know how bad... Scat, Steve, can you guys tell me a sport? Tell me any sport where a player in their first 2 years in the league made the All-Star team or a Pro Bowl, their first 2 years. She's about to be an Olympian, and they get traded before their 3rd season.
One analyst then broke things down year by year, and the discussion became more intense. They claimed that in her first year in Chicago, there were concerns about how certain situations were handled during games. One example mentioned was late game minutes in a blowout, where some felt the focus shifted toward personal stats rather than the score. The panel also repeated the idea that some teammates, including names like Kennedy Carter and Marina Mabry, were unhappy with the situation, with Mabry eventually requesting a move. That it's important to note these were opinions and claims made by analysts on the panel, not officially confirmed facts. Still, they used this as part of their argument that there may have been ongoing tension in the environment rather than isolated incidents.
They suspended you for a half for conduct detrimental to the team. You warmed up, and then when it was time for you to play in the second half, you refused to go in the game, and then you refused to suit up for the remainder of the season. You quit on the team, and the same day as the final game, when your back's apparently hurt, which is why you have been sitting out, you're on a private jet on the way to Vegas twerking and having a ball as if your back never hurt it.
The panel then continued by describing what they claimed happened next in her timeline, saying tensions only increased in the following year. They argued that the team tried a new role for her as a point forward, but called it a poor fit and criticized it heavily. In their view, it didn't match her strengths or efficiency, and they questioned the decision-making behind it. The discussion also included claims about disciplinary issues, including a suspension and moments where she allegedly refused to return to play. The panel described this as part of a growing breakdown between her and the organization. They further mentioned a situation at the end of the season where she was said to be dealing with an injury but was also seen traveling privately, using it as part of the argument about inconsistency. These were all claims and interpretations shared by the analysts on the panel, presented as part of their broader criticism of the situation.
Most of those picks don't even make the team. They traded her for a bag of Cheetos. They wanted to get rid of her so bad. Angel Reese, I see a lot of people from the Atlanta area chanting it on, "Oh, Angel, welcome home, welcome home." I hope some of you keep it real.
The panel reacted with clear disbelief at what was being discussed. not because players don't travel or take personal time, but because of the claim that someone was dealing with a back injury and then appeared on a private jet the same day their team was still playing. One analyst argued that this kind of situation doesn't line up with how organizations usually treat top talent. He pointed out that players with strong resumes are rarely moved so early unless the team truly decides to reset. In his view, the trade suggested Chicago was ready to move on quickly. Even if the retained package was modest, the conversation then shifted to the idea that Caitlin Clark had become part of the storyline around all of this. The panel claimed that comparisons and stat tracking influenced some of the on-court behavior they were discussing, especially in late-game situations. They also brought up reports of tension with teammates, including public criticism and strained relationships within the roster. According to the panel, these conflicts added to the overall instability that eventually led to the situation reaching a breaking point. The discussion ended on the idea that when teammates start distancing themselves, it usually signals deeper issues inside the team environment, not just isolated disagreements. The panel then said the relationship between the player and the organization was likely broken for a long time before it was ever publicly acknowledged. They argued that a formal suspension usually reflects ongoing internal issues, not a single isolated incident. In their view, by the time discipline was issued, the team had already made up its mind and was simply going through the official steps before a move. The conversation then shifted to what the situation could look like in Atlanta, and this part was more balanced. One analyst suggested that the key factor is motivation and staying relevant in the league. He argued that if she is able to focus on winning and building a new narrative, especially in a more successful team environment, it could help her career reset in a positive direction. Another panelist added that Atlanta already has established scoring leaders and all-star level players, so the expectations would be different. The idea was that success would depend on her accepting a supporting role, focusing on rebounds, defense, and making simple plays instead of trying to dominate the offense. They also compared the situation to past NBA examples where teams shifted away from high-usage stars in favor of better chemistry and role balance. The point was that sometimes teams improve when players adapt to fit a system rather than trying to be the centerpiece overall. The panel suggested that Atlanta could whack, but only if the focus shifts from individual narrative to team success.